Hey everybody, Luke Tomasello, author of MangoWriter. I wanted to introduce MangoWriter and compare it a little bit to the usage model of Notepad. MangoWriter is really intended as a drop-in replacement for Notepad, and what it brings to the table is always on encryption. So all the work you do in MangoWriter is always encrypted. And as you know, Notepad saves text in a clear text file, and other similar editors like Notepad might use temp files, which are clear text as well. MangoWriter here on the left is always on AES CGM 256 encryption. The CGM is really an authentication mechanism, so that it's not only encrypted but authenticated, so the files can't be tampered with without MangoWriter detecting it. Okay, but so the one other big difference between MangoWriter and Notepad is MangoWriter has a sophisticated redaction capability, and I will only touch on it in this video. I do a deep dive on redaction in another video because it is something that a particular user would want, like lawyers, legal, government, things of that nature. Okay, so let's just hop in. The first time you run MangoWriter, you'll get a little tutorial that loads up. Obviously this isn't my first run, so I'm going to go ahead and load up the tutorial. We'll just go through it and you can see in real time how MangoWriter works, and how it works very similar to Notepad. The use model is really the same. There's really nothing special that you're going to need to do. Okay, so let's get started here. Under help, you can reload the tutorial at any time. We don't want to save the current document. And here we are. So let's turn on Word Wrap. All right, so the first thing we're being asked that we want to do, the first test we want to run is to save. So we're going to save, and you would save this document like you would any other. However, you can't save without establishing your credentials, right? So that's your password. So we're going to password protect this tutorial and save it to disk. All right, we'll call it what's new? No, we're going to call it tutorial. Yes. Okay, now we need to establish our password for that file. Okay, done. So we've saved the document, and we could reopen it right now without re-entering credentials, because our credentials actually match the file we just saved. If we didn't have credentials established, or we were operating under different credentials, we would be prompted for the password. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is clipboard security. So let's just do a quick test here. I can copy this text here, and I can paste it in MangoWriter, but the clipboard content is encrypted. So if I were to go over here and try to paste it into Notepad, you'll see paste is disabled. There is nothing that Notepad or any other app recognizes, because we don't put clear text on the clipboard. It's all encrypted. Okay, so I can't paste over here. But going the other direction, yes, I can copy from any app and paste into MangoWriter, no problem. Okay, But I can't go the other way. I can't copy this and then paste it into Notepad. There's nothing is pasting. But you're going to want to do this, right? You're going to want to copy to other apps, or you're going to want to export, and we'll cover each of those. But for now, let's look how you get clipboard content into other apps. So you will find that under the security menu, and we're going to select allow plain text clipboard. And this is just a session only setting. It's not saved, so if you restart MangoWriter, it will be disabled again by default. To allow the plain text clipboard, you're going to have to authenticate again, and you'll see the similar behavior when you go to print or when you go to export. So basically, any operation that takes protected content out of MangoWriter, you're going to need to authenticate to prevent somebody from walking by your computer, copying your document to the clipboard, and then pasting it into an email and sending it off somewhere. Okay, so it's just to protect your content. Allow plain text clipboard. So this is warning us that it's going to expose whatever we put on the clipboard to other apps. Okay, so that's what we want. Okay, we've enabled the clipboard, so now we can copy plain text to the clipboard, and we can paste it over here in Notepad. Okay, so that's our clipboard. So just to recap, you can always go from another app into MangoWriter without authentication, paste in there, but taking things out of MangoWriter is going to require re-authentication. All right. Now we get to change our. You can change your password. So let's just go through that one so you can see how that works. So security, change password. So we're going to have to enter our current password because we don't want somebody changing our password without authorization. All right, now we need to enter the new password. Verify. Okay, and we've secured our credentials. We've changed our password. So I don't forget, I'm going to switch it back now because I might need it later. So we're going to enter our current password and the new password. Verify. So I want you to watch. After I say OK, it actually takes a couple of seconds to secure our credentials, and I'll explain what's happening there. Okay, so that little delay you saw is not so much the encryption, actually not the encryption at all. It's that we use a Argon 2 ID for password hashing, and it's what's known as a memory hard hashing algorithm. The details aren't terribly important, but that delay and the resources it used to perform the hash is actually one of the critical aspects of very strong password hashing. So that's the mechanism we use here in MangoWriter. Okay, so MangoWriter has a very powerful second factor. So you can operate just with a password, that's fine. But if you have something like perhaps you're working in a secure room or a government agency, and you need to make sure that this it has the most strong encryption, the best possible key, then you're going to want a second factor. And two-factor authentication is something that you know, which is your password, and then something you have. So what MangoWriter allows you to do is to create a key file. And a key file is 128 bytes of secure random data, and you can then load it and associate it with your document, and that gives that key file is appended to your password to create a very long, very high entropy key. Okay, so let's just try that. Let's create a key file. Create key file, and we're going to call it. And this is telling us that when you create a key file, you're going to probably want to save a copy on a USB drive, back it up, keep a copy off-site, whatever your protocol is for your needs. This is because if you lose your key file, your document is unrecoverable. There's really no way to get it back. So you really want to keep your key file safe, and the best practice is to keep it offline, off-site. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the key file. We're going to call it tutorial.key.mwk. Okay, key file created. Now all we did was create a key file. We didn't associate it with tutorial, so we're going to do that now. And I want you to keep your eye down here in this box where we say that we're running 256-bit encryption, and up here near the title bar where we're going to see the key file name. Okay, we're going to load the key file. There it is, our tutorial key file. Okay, now as you can see, our encryption indicator here has changed color. That tells us there is a key file loaded. And up here in the title bar, you'll see that we are running tutorial.key.mwk. So now if we save, tutorial is now protected by both a password and a key file. So if you don't have both of those, you could not open this file. Let's go ahead and demonstrate. So we created, we loaded. Now let's unload. Now if we unload it, we'll want to resave our document so that the document now reflects credentials that do not have a key file. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's unload key file. Okay, no key file indicated up here, and this is clear again. So now we're just running on a password. Okay, session lock. I'm going to read this to you first because once I session lock, you won't be able to read the screen. Session lock is designed if you need to get up and go grab a cup of coffee and you don't want to lock your computer. Maybe there's somebody else working on it, or you don't want to log out of your computer. You just want to save your state here, but in a secure way. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and lock the session, and that's done here with the little lock icon down here in the bottom left. And when I click it, the session is locked, and the keys that were stored in secure memory have also been wiped. So anyone walking by can see that you're working on something, but they can't read it, they can't interact with it, and nothing on MangoWriter is accessible. The menus are all disabled. There's really nothing you can do with the exception of the lock icon at the bottom. And to unlock it, you're going to need to enter in your password. So let's go ahead and do that. And we recreated credentials, and now we're running again. Okay, saving and loading files. We kind of did that. We saved tutorial. Reloading it would let's go ahead and do it now. We'll save it and we'll reload it just for laughs here. We're going to save, and let's open. Okay. Now we won't need to enter credentials because they happen to match our current credentials, so it will just open. And we're here back at the top of the document, so let's go down to where we were. Lock the session. Okay, we're here saving and loading files. We've done that. Okay, so you can, one of the things a couple of things you want to do with a document in MangoWriter is share it with other people. So you can print, and you can export, and then obviously you can copy to the clipboard as we showed you. For export, you have a couple of options. One is to clear text, and the other is to an encrypted zip file, which if this is a secure document, you're probably going to want to use the encrypted zip file option. You may, if whoever you're sharing with has MangoWriter, you may choose not to share your key files or credentials with them. You may want to just package it up in a zip file and give it off to them. But that part's up to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and export. We're going to export to an encrypted zip file. So you just do that here under the File menu. And since we're going to be taking protected content out of the protected environment, we're going to have to authenticate. And here you would select if you want to do text. We're going to pick encrypted zip. So we're going to save it to tutorial.zip. Okay, now we need to enter a password for the zip file. Okay. All right, exported as encrypted zip. So now you can share that via email, whatever mechanism you use for sharing your documents. And similarly, print, you're going to need to authenticate for printing, same reasons, taking protected content out of the environment. As I mentioned, Redaction will really be a dedicated video because there is a whole lot of features there that are powerful and interesting. But in the simplest case, you can just redact text on the fly. You find it here in the context menu or up in the edit menu, and you just say redact, and it's gone. You see, it's no longer there. And a quick note on redaction: it's not a layer in MangoWriter. The text is actually gone. So if you were to save this or print it, there's no way to recover what was redacted. All they'll see is this blackout. However, within this session, you can simply undo because MangoWriter remembers what was there. But after a save or a print, it's gone, permanently redacted. And that's really it. So the flow is pretty straightforward. You use it just like you would Notepad, except you're always protected. Before I sign off, let me just show you really quickly what we have coming up in the next video. We have a redaction editor here, and you can redact everything from literal strings, regular expressions, surnames, social security numbers, phone numbers, addresses, URLs, emails, dates and times. And one of the things that makes this special in MangoWriter, it doesn't use any cloud services or AIs. It does this all locally. It's very fast, very robust, and it keeps your secure document within this secure environment. Okay, that's it. See you in the next video. Bye.